Trevor Chani here for the SportsCore.com with the Bellator boss, Bjorn Rebney. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Had a great event, Bellator 49. Hell of a way to kick off Season 5. Talk about that a little bit. The prelims, I believe all of them ended in finishes.
I know. The prelims were hot, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Spike.com show was rocking and rolling. The prelims were great. The Lozano fight against Weidman was spectacular. I loved it. The fans seemed to eat it up. Ben Saunders looked like $1 million against Chris. So, and Santos and Lima got wins. So, but boy, those prelims really were spectacular. Finish after finish, So, good night on Spike.com. Good night on MTV2 and Epic. So,
we talked about earlier during the press conference. There were fans that didn't get to check out the press conference. Talk about MTV Networks and how they've been able to help promote the Bellator brand. Because I know a lot of the complaints from Strikeforce before they were bought by Zuffa was, Showtime doesn't promote them. Showtime doesn't promote them. Nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, I'll be on watching Spike. I'll watch MTV. I'll see an ad for Bellator. Online, you guys got a great YouTube presence. Talk about how MTV Networks has really helped take the Bellator brand to that next level.
Literally from day one. People used to always say, we saw some of the Spike guys at your show, or we saw this, or we saw that. From the very first show we ever did underneath that umbrella, they were always there. All of that brain trust that's been responsible for so much in MMA promotion, marketing, and production in the space have always been helping us. Whether it was the 30-second spots, or whether it was promoting the show, or marketing our brand across Spike, or MTV2, or MTV, or MTV3, and on, and now Epics, they've just always been an incredible support mechanism on every facet of our show: production, feature pieces, teases, everything you see. So we're really fortunate. I've been in the sports business as it relates to television now for many years. I've never had an alliance with a group that's as vested as these guys. So it's a great group to be working with.
And we talk about a lot about the fighters and their influence and their backgrounds and where they come from. So if we touch on your background and everything, how has your personal life been since taking on Bellator and taking on a challenge and everything? And how supportive has your family been and close friends and all the time you're away from home, which I'm sure is quite often, right?
Yeah, it's all the time. I'm I'm blessed. I got an amazing wife who's hugely supportive of what I do, who runs a very successful large company of her own, and she works 16 hours a day on her own business, where she's a rock star. She was actually awarded Brand Marketer of the Year by Ad Age last year. So she's really a brain surgeon, the smarter of the two of us. So she gets it. But I think somebody who does what I do would have to be with someone like that, because otherwise, you'd be in a very difficult dynamic. But she travels all over the world constantly. And
she met you in this mode that you're in?
She met me when I was still in the boxing business many years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. But she's a rock star, and they support it. And the kids love it, because now my stepson is old enough now where he can come to all the events, and he just thinks it's the coolest thing in the world, just like I would have when I was a kid. And my daughter loves it, because I got her tickets to the MTV Movie Awards, and she got to sit in the 8th row and thought that was the coolest thing she'd ever seen. So, it's just I got a lot of support from a lot of good people. I'm surrounded by an amazing team. I got some incredible people working with me in this company. So it just it makes all this stuff keep rolling around. So.
Now we also cover pro wrestling, so I got to ask you this and everything. You got the AC fight coming up with Alvarez and Chandler, which should be a great fight. Right near Philly. TNA's got an event as well called Bound for Glory. Any chance we could see some more crossover promotion between Bellator and Impact Wrestling? And do you think any of your fighters will ever actually get in the ring?
That's a very good question. The answer to the first part of the question is, without question, you will see us with Impact. And you will see a lot more of the Bellator fighters on the Impact show, which is a great show. Does 1.5 million viewers per show, and it's a top-rated show on Spike Network.
Eddie Alvarez chilling with Kurt Angle the other night.
Eddie was chilling with Kurt Angle. Joe Warren was chilling on the show and did an amazing job. We've got some plans for some other wrestlers who fight in our organization to be on that show. So you'll see a lot more of that. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I've been a wrestling fan for years, and I get a kick out of it. It's just that dimwit TV you can just sit back and watch and just kind of eat up. So I'm a fan, and we got a lot of people who work with us, obviously at MTV and at Spike, who are part of that show and are heavily vested in it. So you'll see a lot more, hopefully, cross-pollination. I don't know if you'll ever see guys get into the ring.
You won't see Alvarez team with Angle at all?
That would scare me a great deal. Boy, Eddie Alvarez popping out his shoulder or something on Impact Wrestling would be a disaster. So we'll see.
Tell fans about what they expect out of Season 5 and Bellator Fighting Championship championships? Because obviously we had a great start tonight with the prelims, with the main event. Everything's going well so far. What can I expect coming up?
My hope would be just great fight after great fight. We got the middleweights kicking off next week from the Hard Rock. I think that the Hess fight against Baker should be a great fight. The Victor O'Donnell fight against Brian Rogers isn't getting a lot of play, but that should be an amazing fight. It'll be interesting to see what Vitor Viana has. He came in highly ranked as a middleweight that was really a top middleweight unsigned in the world. That Sam Alvey fight should be something special. The Galisic-Slamenko fight, if you're a fan of people punching each other in the face and kicking each other in the head,
spinning back fist, right?
Those two guys, they've never met a spinning back fist or a kick to the head that they didn't like. So that should be a great fight. And then the bantamweight's kick. That bantamweight division is just rock solid stacked. That's one of the best bantamweight lineups I've ever seen.
Joe Warren doing his thing. He's an athletic freak.
Dantas, Chase Beebe, the list goes on and on. Rivera.
Kurt Pellegrino,
we just signed, who's going to fight Pitbull here on Thanksgiving weekend at the third show we're going to do in AC this fall. So a lot of exciting stuff. And then, of course, some banging heavyweights coming on October 1st. So a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Well, Bjorn, I always appreciate the time. Obviously, you can find you guys at Bellator.com. But where can they find you on Twitter? And how much better have you gotten at Twitter and your Twitter advocacy since our last interview? Because I know that was something you had trouble with.
Dude, I'm a 45-year-old dude. I know Twitter like I know holes in my head. You know what I mean? I'm just not. It's at Bjorn Rebney, and I'm
you don't look 45.
Dude, every day of it. But yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm taking pictures and I'm trying to tweet stuff. I just, the thought of sharing with people where I'm going to lunch just seems counterintuitive to me. But I don't know. The social media guys that work with us are going, hey, get this stuff out. So I'm doing it, and hopefully it'll keep growing. So we'll see.
Hopefully Bellator will keep growing as well. You guys definitely on the right track. Bjorn, as always, thanks so much, sir.
Appreciate it.